California has always been loud, not just with noise, but with ambition. Hollywood dreams in Los Angeles, tech empires rise in the Bay. For decades, basketball in California had a hierarchy. Some teams mattered, some teams survived. Then one day, two teams decided survival wasn't enough. Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Clippers. What followed wasn't tradition, it wasn't history, it was collision. Chapter 1, Before Anyone Cared. For most of NBA history, this matchup meant nothing. The Warriors were inconsistent, drifting between eras. The Clippers were invisible, ignored, forgotten, ridiculed. When they played each other, arenas weren't full, cameras didn't linger, no one circled the date. But resentment was forming quietly. Loss after loss does that. Chapter 2, The Clippers' Anger. The Clippers lived in the shadow of banners that weren't theirs. Same city, different respect. They were mocked as cursed, owned by failure, defined by disappointment. But inside the locker room, anger lived. Anger doesn't announce itself. It waits. Chapter 3, The Warriors' Hunger. Golden State wasn't royalty either. They had moments, they had flashes, but no dominance. Then came a belief that shooting could be a weapon, that movement could break defenses, that joy could destroy fear. They didn't just want to win, they wanted to change basketball. Chapter 4, When Everything Shifted. The early 2010s cracked the NBA open. Suddenly, the Clippers became Lob City. Power, elevation, swagger. Blake Griffin dunked like gravity didn't exist. Chris Paul commanded like a general. DeAndre Jordan ruled the paint. They weren't quiet anymore. They were loud. And Golden State noticed. Chapter 5, The First Spark. When these teams met, the tone changed instantly. Hard fouls, extended stares, words that cameras couldn't air. There was no respect, only challenge. The Clippers thought they owned the state. The Warriors thought the future was theirs. Both couldn't be right. Chapter 6, Skill versus Force. This rivalry wasn't just emotional, it was philosophical. Clippers basketball was power, above the rim, through the defender. Warriors basketball was motion, spacing, precision. Every game felt like an argument, and every basket felt like a statement. Chapter 7, The Game That Changed Everything. One night, everything boiled over. A hard foul, a shove, then chaos. Benches cleared, voices rose, control vanished. This wasn't rivalry anymore. This was war. From that night on, every Warriors versus Clippers game carried memory. Pain remembers. Chapter 8, Steph Curry Enters the Story. Then came the shot, the kind that rewrites logic. Stephen Curry didn't overpower anyone. He didn't intimidate. He erased distance. From half court, from nowhere, from everywhere. The Clippers had no answer, and fear crept in. Chapter 9, The Clippers' Pride. The Clippers refused to bow. They pushed harder, fouled smarter, hit back louder. Chris Paul demanded perfection. Blake Griffin demanded respect. They believed the Warriors were soft. The Warriors believed the Clippers were outdated. Both were wrong. Chapter 10, Playoff Tension. When postseason basketball arrived, everything sharpened. Each possession felt heavier. Each whistle felt personal. Crowds screamed louder. Benches stood longer. California was divided. Chapter 11, A Rivalry Goes National. Suddenly, the world was watching. This wasn't Lakers versus Celtics. This wasn't old blood. This was new hate. Fast, loud, unforgiving. Warriors versus Clippers became must-watch TV. Chapter 12, The Moment of Realization. At some point, both teams understood the truth. They were shaping each other. Every improvement came from facing the other. Every weakness was exposed by the other. They were enemies, but also mirrors. End of part 1. This rivalry had only begun. Dynasties were forming, eagles were growing, championships were waiting, and the next chapter would change the NBA forever. At first, the Clippers believed they were ahead. They looked stronger, more physical, more complete. They had veterans who had seen pressure. They had stars who demanded the ball. They had confidence that felt earned. When they faced Golden State, they played like teachers correcting students. Hard fouls, smirks, slow walks back on defense. The Clippers thought the Warriors were exciting, but fragile. They were wrong. Chapter 14, the Warriors were learning. Golden State didn't argue. They observed. Every loss became data. Every mistake became fuel. They watched how the Clippers trapped the pick and roll, how they forced turnovers, how they bullied shooters. And then they adjusted, quietly. This wasn't a team chasing respect. This was a team building a weapon. Chapter 15, Speed as a Statement. The Warriors realized something dangerous. The Clippers were powerful but heavy, strong but predictable. Golden State responded with speed. Pass, cut, shoot, relocate. Defenders chased ghosts. The ball never stayed still long enough to be hit. The Clippers started arriving late. A step behind, then two. That's how games are lost. Chapter 16, The First Cracks. Frustration doesn't explode, it leaks. A missed rotation blamed on someone else, a shouted instruction ignored, a timeout that solved nothing. The Clippers were still winning, but not comfortably. And when they lost, the losses lingered. Golden State smiled more, moved freer. The psychological balance was changing. Chapter 17, Playoff Basketball Remembers Everything. The postseason does not forget. It remembers every weakness, every doubt, every hesitation. When the Warriors and Clippers met under playoff lights, the energy felt different. No more jokes, no more swagger, just tension. Every possession felt like judgment. Crowds screamed louder, benches stood longer. California was divided. Chapter 18, The Game That Broke Trust. One playoff game changed everything. The Clippers led comfortably. They relaxed.